Hello there, people. John Shaughnessy here, bringing you ancient geoengineering like you've never seen before. I had a little bit of a cold, so if I'm hacking up a lung here, you'll have to forgive me. This is all part of new science that I've stumbled upon. It's called Ancient Geoengineering. My first book, Pyramid Gravity Force. My second book is this one here that's coming out in summer of 2015. So we're going to be getting into gravity sources and control, dimensions of gravity and lensing. Gravity, for all intents and purposes, acts just like all the other subatomic particles out there. If you condense them, the energy increases. Just like photons go through a magnifying glass, you increase the concentration of the photons, you get heat. You increase the density of gravitons, you get a denser gravitational field inside pyramids, mountains, and volcanoes. I'm just going to zip right along. You guys can read this stuff. Just hit the pause button. I got 20 minutes, and we've already burned up 1 minute and 18 seconds. Here's my book, Pyramid Gravity Force. If you get any spare change, go ahead and buy the book. It's great for, say you had to start a fire in your wood stove. If you have a wash machine that's out of balance, you could stick it underneath it and take the wobble out of it. Or a chair that's not sitting on all four legs, you can use it to shim up the chair. But anyways, this stuff costs money. And buying a book helps me out and maybe help you out if we can get this information out and next generation. So time is at an essence here. 7 major factors in ancient geoengineering: the sun, earth, volcanoes, magma currents, pyramids, and the biggest tour de force gravity player of them all, the moon. The moon is the big player. Some of the your theoretical physicists out there, geotheoretical physicists, they all need to start including the moon into everything they do. They're explaining how the Van Allen belt works and how the magnetic field works, and they can't understand why things change with CMEs coming from the sun. They don't seem to repeat themselves. It's because they're not including the moon into any of the formulas, equations, studies they're doing. They're not plotting the moon cycle. It has 2 gravitational pulls and 2 releases every day. All mass is translucent in the dimensions of gravity. That's what it is right there. So you get your, these could be your pyramids or your mountains or volcanoes. They're all big, giant magnifying glasses. The reason you got to make such a big pyramid to do the same thing as like a small magnifying glass, because the gravity wave is relatively weak on the planet. So you have to make a 6.5 million ton pyramid instead of trying to make a 6.5 million ton magnifying glass. It's a lot cheaper doing it in stone than pouring a one-piece 6.5 million ton magnifying glass. All right, here's some alignments. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of these alignments is more accurate. This kind of gives you a rough idea. You got the volcano, pyramids. The volcano's one with the little doodad, the little streamer of magma coming out of the top of the triangle. And the one without magma is obviously a pyramid. So I mean, you got a lot of alignments here. You got the Nile Valley with the Hawaiian hotspot. You know, it's the Hawaiian hotspot, Nile Valley. I mean, these are straight lines. This is bang, boom, bang. This is my gift to humanity. I took the long walk across the living room one day when I was watching a TV show to see what was on the other side of Giza, and it was the Hawaiian Islands. And I took a look at the Pyramid of the Sun, and I noticed it was Sri Lanka, you know, Mount Sajiri. Then I took another look at the Shen Pyramids, and it was Bermuda Island, the old dual super caldera that makes up the Bermuda Island. I'll go into a couple more alignments real quick. Here's one right here. This is the most famous of the famous Orion belt that was with Bouval and Hancock. Great guys doing some work out there in the plateau, you know. It's all about making a timestamp. I'm not sure what the Orion theory actually is because it's not a zodiac house, but I do understand Leo looking at the sun rising up in it, and that gives you a timestamp of when construction actually started in the Nile Valley or on the Giza Plateau. Well, I do know stuff about the, let me take back that. I know about the Orion theory and everything. So, I mean, to me, it's all timestamps. That's what it all comes down to. So there's one alignment. You got the Sun Pyramid Complex, Mount Sageria. Check out Mount Sageria. You'll find some claws that rival the size of the Great Sphinx out in the Giza Plateau. And, you know, this is all ancient technology that was done by the masters, the great architects, the little G. I call it, you know, the God, the big G is the one who created the universe, and little G's that come in and do the tune-ups on the planets. Our ancestors, no aliens, just human ancestors, the ebb and flow of, you know, peaks and valleys with humanity. You ascend to the top with your power and knowledge, and then for some reason we just fall back down again. That's why I'm shooting this here video. I'm trying to prevent the fall back into the Stone Age. Shen pyramids in China lining up with Bermuda supercaldera. You see some neat little alignments here. That kind of, this is the floor of the Atlantic Ocean right off of the pyramid. These pyramids line up with the supercaldera, making up two supercalderas that make up the Bermuda Island. Again, 180 degrees away from each other on the same latitude. Azor Pyramids, Tamu Massive, 180 degrees apart from each other, same latitude. What is going on, people? How can this be? Like every pyramid on the planet that is huge, large, has an island 180 degrees away from it on the same approximate latitude. What can I tell you? You know, this. I'm here to point out the obvious. Somehow, some ways, for some reason, the obvious seems to escape people and the institutions out there. I don't know why, but it just is. So this is my my cross to bear, if you will, and I'm passing it on to the you know, my fellow man. So again, these things come into a play. These are both submerged. You go into an ice age, which is the normal weather on the planet, 100,000 years in ice age, and then the big thaw for 13,500. But anyways, enough of that. We have these two giant masses will come up out of the ocean and balance out each other's gravitational wave by condensing their own gravitational focal points in their mass and balance it out. It's all about balance, man. You got to add some pyramids to balance things out, to stop volcanic eruptions getting carried away. Stability in tectonic plates, stability in magma currents. It's all about controlling the magma on your planet. Tamu Massive here is one of the second largest volcano in the solar system. Olympus Mons up in Mars, planet of Mars, is the largest volcano in the solar system. Again, you got some huge pyramids down in you know, Central America there. Levante, El Tigre pyramids. These things are 1,000 some odd feet high, twice the size of Giza. Great Pyramid of Giza. They line up with the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is a great shot right here. I'm looking to see what my time is. What are we at? Oh my God, 9 minutes. I can't believe it. Time is just flying by in this video. We have about 270 pyramids in this small little area. You got the Yucatan Peninsula, you know, all these small little South Central American countries, and then Mexico. I mean, literally 275 pyramids. Some of them huge, massive monstrosities. Some of them buried by the jungle. They haven't been even excavated yet or found. And then you have this 180 degrees, same latitude, the lowest gravitational field on the planet. You know, that's what they do. It's a gravity balancing mechanism right here. The worst thing you can do to a pyramid is open it up. This disables the pyramid. This lowers the gravitational field. So consequently, most of the pyramids that have ever been discovered, the first thing humans do is burrow a hole in it. just like up in the Bosnia pyramids. So the first thing they do, let's burrow a hole into it and look for the big stash. I got news for you. There's no big stash. It's a machine. It needs to be closed up to work properly. Then you have Giza here, the Hawaiian Islands, and then you have Shen pyramids up here, and they tie into Bermuda right off the east coast of the United States. And that's just three of the big ones. Another observation in my science was that mountain ranges line up with mountain ranges. Who could have thought of it? Mountain ranges line up with mountain ranges 180 degrees from each other on approximately the same latitude. The Himalayas tie into the Sierra Nevadas, the Rocky and Appalachian Mountains. The North Andes tie into Indonesia, Singapore, Sumatra, and Bali. Australia ties into South America. Australia, South America. What was I going to say? There's an actual, if the ocean was lower, or if you had a good map of the ocean, the South America, Australia, and Indonesia actually have the same shape. Like, they actually mimic each other 180 degrees away from each other on the same latitudes, because that's a huge continent here. We have a few latitudes, rings of latitude. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. Let's see. Antarctica ties into Antarctica. They're both right there. They're on the same latitude, and they're 180 degrees away from each other. They have some great-looking pyramid mountains up there, by the way, which were they're artificial. They weren't those mountains up there. A lot of mountains on the planet, most of the mountain peaks, large mountain peaks, have been altered, honed, carved, cut to give a stronger geometrical shape to them, to condense the gravity wave, and to balance the gravity wave between the two masses. Let's see. You heard it here first. Africa and Europe tie into submerged mountains in the North and South Pacific. Message from a type-free society, that controlled its environment by harnessing gravity. And what did they harness gravity for? To control your magma chambers. 12 minutes. I'm trying to keep this under 20 minutes. Horus, this is just a hieroglyph. This is, the best way to transcend the sands of times and pass a message along is with glyphs, reliefs, pictures, because languages change, but pictures seem to pass the word along. So the snake is the logo for gravity. Here's the sun. There's the sun right there. The sun is on top of his head. This is the gravity wave right here, squeezing in on the sun. That powers the sun. Again, you have another giant billboard, and the serpent is crawling down the stairs here, the side of the pyramid, during a equinox. Another billboard saying, "Hey, look, the serpent is the logo for gravity, and these pyramids are gravity motions." This is a relatively new, 80s, relatively new, 1980s. H.D. Buey headed a microgravity reading project for the EDF Foundation. It paints a million, thousands of gravity readings to get this densitogram, and it's a stratification. There's a stratification of gravity wave. There's like 7 zones. You got 3 focal points in the gravity in the GP1. You got them in the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, the Subterranean Chamber, which, by the way, were filled with dense material like gold or uranium to increase the gravitational fields in play with the moon to control magma chambers. How about that? Wow, who would have thought? So much for the tomb theory. I know you guys are probably lining up to jump off the bridge, the tomb theorists. Anyways, the moon and the pyramids work to control magma currents. I think I just said that. Oh my God, who would have thought? There's moon right here. I found this guy's. There's an eyeball, 2 eyes. This is Mare Imbrium on the moon. Actually, the Chinese just landed in latitude 19.3 5 or something like that with their rover. Check out the Chinese website. They're very liberal with their information. There's this set of lips, there's a nose. I put the arrows in there because people just can't see what I see. So this is just more evidence that there was an advanced technological humans on the planet that have lost their technology, just like the fall of Rome and the fall of Egypt and the fall of Greece. I mean, it's just, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. So we're on the great rise right now, and we will fall. That's just the way history is. But we try to grab some of this knowledge and get off the merry-go-round. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe humanity will skip a few falls and get their acts together. Who knows? The Great Pyramid is a lens. It is a focal point. You can read this stuff, put it on pause, come back to it. There's a couple of pyramids designs in the Nile Valley. All these chambers are focal points where dense material is put into them to increase the to increase the gravitational density, to pull water. You'll actually pull water up to these pyramids if you work them right. They will actually increase the tidal forces of water tables in the ground with the moon, in cooperation with the moon. But the primary purpose is magma control. So it's a duality out there. It's a multiplicity, operational units here. So it's not just one thing. It's a lot of things. Like everybody that's out there that's ever gave 1 minute of study into these pyramids has actually helped with everybody's theory. It's like everybody's theory. Everybody out there that's written a book or put a video out or given a lecture on a theory of the pyramids is actually somewhat right. Like everybody's right up until their ideas are right. Because these units, these machines have multiple purposes. So give everybody a fair shake here and give them a listen, because they do have. It does all connect in a very poetic way, if you will. There's these pyramids were one of their reasons is magma control. And why do we want to control magma? Because we like the way the magnetic field stays in the northern hemisphere. We don't like it moving around like it's moving around now. We're not going to have a pole swap. You can read that in my third book that's coming out called Gravinetics, a new science on gravity, and that'll probably come out at the end of 2015. My next book's coming out, Ancient Geo Engineering. Might have some, I don't know. I might be able to stuff Gravinetics into the next one. That'll be out in June. So, anyways, the poles are generated by movements within the Earth and out across. This is old stuff. I mean, the Van Allen belt has something to do with the magnetic field, along with the solar radiation, CMEs, coronal mass ejections, and obviously rotation, material inside the core, iron, nickel, who knows. I have a hunch that the core is made out of gold, but I don't want anybody going digging down and taking it. So, no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, it's all a balancing act, And these pyramids, when you borrow a hole through a pyramid, you're disabling a machine that was built to control magma currents in connection with the moon's tidal forces. So, consequently, just about every pyramid that's ever been discovered has got a hole in it, has been disabled. The gravitational concentration has been undermined. They've undermined the great architects, the engineers, the ancient geoengineers that put this together to cause this balancing. So even though you have you're not going to have a pole swap, having the magnetic pole move around a couple hundred miles, 300-400 miles up there is wreaking havoc, as you can see in Iceland, where the magma is just spewing out of between two tectonic plates. So I got 30 seconds left. Again, John Shaughnessy, Pyramid Gravity Force. Buy my book. Help fund my science, and it might help fund you someday. Good day.